Hi and welcome to Behind the Saddle. My name's Liam and today we've got Apprentice Jockey Alfie Redman. Hi Alfie, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Liam. Thank you for having me on the show.
Are you on a couple of rides this week? How have they been for you?
Yeah, not bad. One's first time out for Linda Parrott. Racecourse debut. Should learn a lot from that. And the other one, we were just a bit short of room in the apprentice race, and just never really got going. But it's nice to get more experience on the track.
Yes, obviously you're still quite young, so let's just take it back to the very start. How was the journey begin for horses that
So
involve horses for yourself?
yeah, I finished school when I was about 16 in COVID year. My dad and my granddad always, watched races, and I watched them with them when I was younger. And then just finished school and didn't really know what to do with it being COVID, and thought, oh, why not get into horses? My dad and my mum showed me around some colleges, and I was just like having none of it. And I knew exactly I wanted to get into racing, so yeah, just then went to the racing school, signed up for that, got in, did a 14-week course there, and then yeah, ended up getting a job at Andrew Balding's, where I've been there about 5 years in January since. So yeah, it's going really well.
And what was that experience like for you at the British Racing School?
Yeah, you learn plenty. I mean, I literally first time dealing with horses, so yeah, they accommodate for people that have not been in horse racing or dealt with horses as such. So it was quite interesting to see how the day to day work is with dealing with horses. So it definitely taught me a lot, and start the basics before going into a proper racing yard as such.
Obviously you mentioned your mum there. Was she very supportive of you go getting
Yeah,
involved?
yeah, very. I mean, they thought I was a bit daft at first because they're taking me around these colleges, and I was just like, this is not what I want. And so they knew what I wanted to do, and I just signed myself up for the racing school. And before we know it, I had an interview, got in, and yeah, did the course there, and yeah, made a lot of new friends, and just the basics, of starting into the racing world. So never looked back since, really.
And obviously, just talk a little bit more about that. Obviously, from week 1 to week 14, how challenging was that process?
Yeah, yeah, very challenging. You start getting up early, and it's more work that you probably started to get used to. Obviously, I went straight after finishing school, so it was quite full on. Getting up early and mucking out, and essentially learning to ride race horses as well, which is a whole new level in itself. So I mean, it was challenging, especially not dealing with horses, and going into the racing world quite fresh, and yeah, managed to learn a lot from it. Yeah, again, make new friends, but just to set me up for going into the racing world, and it's a great way of getting into it, and definitely recommend people starting off that way like I did.
No, definitely. And obviously, then you graduated after the 14 weeks, which obviously was a challenging process throughout. What was that? What made you the decision to go to Andrew Baldwin's yard?
So yeah, so because it was COVID, it was a bit more challenging getting into places with everyone restrictions and stuff. So I finished the course and then went home for Christmas for a few weeks, and then the racing school managed to find me a job at Andrew Balding's, and went there for a week's trial, and then got on well, and here I am. Here I am now, five years later. So.
No, definitely. And obviously, with going to the British Racing School, there's not just you don't have to just be a jockey, do you? There's so many more careers you can get involved in. Obviously,
Yeah,
when was the moment when you knew you really wanted to be a jockey?
I mean, I suppose it started just watching the racing with my dad and granddad, and just watching the jockeys race, and it's just something I was wanting to get into. Never mind just getting into racing, but I had the ambition, to become a jockey, and yeah, you can go to the racing school, and they've got so many job roles now you can get into in racing. Not just to be a jockey or a work rider or groom, you could be travelling, get into veterinary or media now. So and I've always dreamt. I keep dreaming getting my license after being in the racing world. And yeah, I managed to progress and work hard, knuckle down, and learn more, and managed to get my license with Andrew Borden.
No, definitely. And how vital and pivotal do you think them roles are? Obviously, behind the scenes more in the racing industry.
Yeah, it's you definitely need all the experience you get, really. Get advice from people around you. Definitely, the more experience you get in racing and the more riding you do, definitely helps with progressing into your future career of what you want to do as such. Whether that be becoming a jockey, or being a work ride, or progressing onto bigger things. You just more experience you get, the better.
No, definitely. And how vital were the mentors and the staff that worked at the British Racing School helped you for the person you are now, and obviously going into the industry?
Yeah, they taught me a lot. I mean, obviously, the graph that you do with horses and setting me up for a such big yard like this, for example. I think that's the main thing. You go there, and I know you're just getting into racing, but just to set you up of um, coming to a big yard like this, and not just completely thrown in the deep end, and a little bit more now about how to deal with racehorses, how to ride. And I definitely found, since straight away when joining the racing yard, you learn more and more as you progress, and the more years you spend, the more you learn, and the experience, and the better you become.
No, definitely. Obviously, you did mention before about going the different race courses around the country with your granddad. What was it like when you first got your first mounts? What was that like? What was that feeling like?
Yeah, some experience, like I've watched, like I said, watched the race with my dad and my granddad, and never really thought about being able to do that and to actually be on TV as such. So it was a dream come true, and the my whole family are very supportive, and I think my dad and my granddad were very, very happy to see me race riding. They actually came for my first race ride, and for the first few actually, and I ended up having my first winner on my third ride, and they ended up being there at Bath Racecourse, and yeah, it was such a special day. I've always dreamt of that, and they've always dreamt of seeing me do this kind of thing. So yeah, I was very pleased for them.
No, obviously, definitely. Obviously, it must have been a very special day and a good celebration. And obviously, you must have been felt so good making your family so proud of yourself. Obviously, are they the people who really inspire you? Or obviously, and also, obviously, there's big names. Obviously, at Andrew Bolton's yard. Do you look up to them as well and get any
Yeah,
advice?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. My dad, is always there for me and supporting me, and well, my whole family really are there supporting me, and definitely achieved what I wanted to do. And yeah, coming to Andrew Boardings, there's your load of top jockeys around you, helping you out day to day, and being able to work ride with them, and just you learn so much from them. It's yeah, great opportunity to be in.
So let's just take like a day in the life of yourself. What does a day look like for you? From obviously getting up in the morning to going to bed at night. What does it look like
Yeah,
for yourself?
so we get up and start work at 7. We pull out for first lot at 7:10. And then we tend to ride here about 4 to 5 lots a day. And then whether I've got a ride maybe in the afternoon, I then get ready to leave, drive to, say, if I was at Lingfield, I drive to Lingfield, and then I'm riding in the afternoon then, and then get back and have a bit more downtime in the evening. Or if I'm not race riding, then I'd finish morning work, perhaps go to the gym, do a bit of fitness, which is very vital for being a jockey, and then do evening stables, which could include mucking out or doing stalls work with the unraced 2-year-olds that might need going in. So all that stuff like stalls work, it got me more experience, and it wasn't, it helped me out when I was going towards my license. So all these opportunities, I just had to take, and here I am now, I guess.
No, definitely. Obviously, being a jockey is not easy work. Obviously, there's loads you've got to think about and loads you've got to do. Obviously, you mentioned before about traveling up and down the country. Obviously, you've got to make sure your diet's right. Obviously, how do you work that out in a balance for yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a tall lad, so I keep an eye on my weight really, and what I eat, and I do a lot of fitness throughout the week, and not to overeat, for example. But yeah, it can be tiring at times, and you just have to keep going. This week I was at Newcastle twice, so yeah, it involved a lot of driving and determination, but I think that's what proper drives me going forward. Having my license and always just wanting to achieve more and get better and better. And once you have these winners, these days like this where they're long and tiring pay off massively when you're riding more horses, riding more winners, and yeah, it's a great achievement really.
What's one thing you think you need to have as a personally to be a jockey? What's one thing you think you need?
Yeah, so again, determination and just a right mindset, and it can be hard at times. Say if you need to lose weight for a certain ride, or like I said, driving up and down the country, so you just have to just think about the future and just have that goal in your head of you can do this, like this is what you got to do to improve and get where you want to be in the future. And I think that really drives you forward and want to achieve more and more.
Obviously, you already achieved so much in your career so far. Obviously, you're still only young. You've had over 65 races this year, haven't you? And three
Yeah,
wins.
yeah,
Do you set yourself any targets, goals before a season?
yeah. So through the season this year, it's been kind of up and down. Improving and coming into racing fresh when I was 16. You've already got a setback. Like for example, if your family's not into racing, you see a lot of them coming through family background of top jockeys, and I think that's already kind of a setback. But you make mistakes and you just have to learn from them, and I feel like it's just starting to come now and just improve. And as grateful for connections and trainers and owners that have put me up this season. And I think we were in the right direction, and hopefully throughout the winter season, hopefully get a few more winners, and that will put me in good stead for the next season, and try and achieve more and more, like I said, and see if we can get a few more winners next year.
Yes, obviously you've had quite a few rides up until now. Do you ever look back at your races to try and see if you can improve on certain things, or are you always talking to Andrew as a trainer or anyone else in the yard?
Yeah, I'm always, talking to the jockeys around me of what I should have done and what I should have done better. Talking to the trainers that I've ridden for, getting advice from them. And my dad's a big supporter. He's always like, we're always talking to each other after the races to see like what I could have done better. And I know he's spent much longer not in racing, but he's watched the racing, so he's helped me along a bit. And I just always look back at my races the couple of days after, just to see where I've gone wrong and make improvements for my next ride, and see where I can improve from then on, really.
No, definitely. And obviously, from obviously now and going future in racing, do you think like you'll set yourself targets and goals going forward?
Yeah, so definitely next season, just try and ride a few more winners. Hopefully, I could try and ride me £7 claim out at some point next year. That'll be a great achievement for next year. And I think you'll just kind of just build on that really, and build on your goals and drive forward, and try and achieve one step better really.
So let's take life off the track. What's it like? What do you enjoy doing when you're not involved in horses?
So I like me gym work. I do a lot of fitness. But I'm a big football supporter as well.
Who's your
Um,
sports though?
Stoke City, yeah. So I mean, they're doing well this year.
Doing
So
well this season.
yeah, they are doing well. I think they're third in the championship. So I managed to watch a few games when I can. The teams down south are a bit close, like Southampton. I've been to Southampton game this season, so it's great to get a bit of downtime, and I like playing football as well as watching it. So a few of the lads at Andrews, we have a little kick around it now and again, which is gives you a bit of downtime
Yeah.
and a bit more relaxation.
What's the atmosphere like at Andrews Yard? Is it good?
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of younger staff around you, so we're always doing things together. There's accommodation on site, so everyone's literally on the same area. So yeah, there's never really a dull moment where you're not really doing much because you always got your friends around you, and for example, playing football one night is something we do, which is very enjoyable and gets us out and about and away from racing as such.
No, definitely. Obviously, you mentioned before you were from Stoke. What was life like growing up in Stoke, and obviously your childhood growing up?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I've had a good childhood. I'm very family oriented, so I grew up. Yeah, grew up well. Obviously went to primary school and main school, high school. Wasn't a massive fan of school really, but made many friends. And yeah, like I said, I just watched the racing with my family. So it was obviously something I was gonna hopefully get into eventually. But yeah, I had some good times in my hometown.
No, definitely. And obviously, you said you wasn't a big fan of school. If you wasn't going to be a jockey, was there anything else you were looking at?
I would have been struggling, to be honest. I didn't
Yeah.
mind my geography, but I didn't unless I was going to go to college, which wasn't really anything I was obviously looking into. Um, I wasn't really going to pursue anything in geography, and then I was quite good at art in school, so maybe that probably would have been my backup plan. Maybe do art in college, but again, it was college wasn't anything that really like made me want to do anything. Like yeah, I was going around the colleges with my mum and dad, and I was just not liking it. And I when I've set a goal and what I know what I want to do, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. So yeah, yeah, that just wasn't the way forward.
No, that's amazing to hear. And obviously, before you did mention you're quite family orientated. Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up. Is Christmas quite a big thing for your family and yourself?
Yeah, Christmas is a very very big thing. Always at home for Christmas. We're quite a big family, so I've got a brother and a sister, and they've got children, so we all get together and have plenty of buffets and Christmas dinners. So, but then it also can be quite tough because I have to manage what I'm eating. Say if I've got anything around Christmas time, but yeah, it's also a bit more downtime to spend with the family, which obviously I don't get much of because they're 3 hours away from Andrew boarding. So yeah, when I can see them is great, and they're always supporting me coming to the racing when they can. They've come watch me at Wolves a few times and Southwell and just areas around home, and they always love bringing the friends and stuff to watch me ride out. They love doing that, and they stay in the village 5 minutes from the yard. So yeah, they just love it and love seeing me doing what I love doing.
No, definitely. And obviously, it's great to hear that your family are being so supportive. Do you have obviously a message if they're watching now? Do you have a message for them?
Just to say, hopefully, I'm doing them proud, and it's something. Racing was something I wanted to do, and now I'm doing it, and being a jockey, it's just great, and I'm so pleased for my dad and my granddad being able to watch the races that I'm in, and them being able to go to the races and watch me in person as well is great.
No, that's amazing. That. So, we're just going to ask you a few quick fire questions now, Alfie.
Yeah.
So, what's your favourite race course to ride at? Obviously, you've ridden a few probably now.
Oh, oh, that's a tough one. I've ridden at Ascot once, and that was probably my favourite one. I'd love to ride at Ascot more, and the whole stage and the grandstand's just something else.
And what's your favourite racehorse that you've ridden so far, would you say?
I'd probably say Scariff for Rebecca Menzies. I've ridden a few times. At Musselburgh, I came first and second on her. So yeah, I'd actually enjoyed riding at Musselburgh as well. I know it's another long journey, but yeah, I had some success at Musselburgh so far, which is good.
What does it mean to you? Obviously, these trainers and owners giving you these chances.
Yeah, it's massive. Like there's so many jockeys out there, and just making these connections is a massive thing, and being able to rely on me and put me up on these horses is I'm just very thankful for. And it is hard get going. I feel, and talking to a few people, but yeah, getting a rise and taking them how they are, and just keep improving, and hopefully making more connections and stuff is the way forward, really.
No, definitely. What would you say your biggest achievement in is so far?
The biggest achievement really is probably just winning my first race was probably my big achievement. With my family, with my whole family really being there as well, being able to watch me ride me only third race and having a winner was great. And that's what I've dreamt of doing for me, granddad and my dad, being able to watch me win races. Never mind, be a jockey. So.
Where do you hope to be in the next couple of years?
Yeah, hopefully riding plenty of winners and work through my claim. I think that's everyone's jockey's aims when they're starting off. You could think big about your goals, but you set some small ones first, and like I said, you just bounce off each one and just improve and think ahead after you've completed each one. I'd like to do a bit more racing abroad as well. I recently went to the Breeders' Cup. I was lucky enough to go to there with three of Andrew's horses, which again is a big achievement to go with them. And it was something else, that experience in America.
No, yeah, definitely 100%. Let's hope you go around all
Yeah.
around you worldwide. Who would you say your best friend is in racing? Any other jockeys you get along with really well?
Best friend, there's plenty of jockey friends that I've made, especially starting off and in the weighing room. I can be quite shy meeting new people, so I felt quite daunting at first in the weighing room, with everyone around you. But you soon start making friends and getting chatting to regular faces. And you got the jockeys that Andrew uses, like Callum Hutchinson, and obviously O'Sheen and David Probert and Rob Ormby and so on. And I've ridden work with them at Andrew, so you get to speak to them more and get advice from them in the weighing room. So it's very helpful to have top jockeys at Andrews.
No, Deb, what's the weighing room like on a race day?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, I haven't been to big meetings really yet. So I should imagine that would be quite tense and busy. But yeah, it's great. You see many different faces that you wouldn't see. Obviously, you're at 1 yard, so you see people up and down the country that you don't really see. So you have a good chat with them and get to know new people, new jockeys. So it's great for making friends as well, really.
No, definitely. Do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions before you go for a race?
Not when I'm driving. I stick some tunes on and get myself pumped really, and
Yeah.
and then when I'm at the weighing room, I just try relax and focus and get in the mode really.
What
And
type of
get
music do you like?
I listen. I listen to quite a few different genres really. I'm not really fussy when it comes to music, so whatever I'm feeling up to during the journey, I just stick on. But yeah, I love my music, so it really I relax to it really well.
You a karaoke man? Do you like getting off with doing a song?
I wouldn't mind a bit of karaoke, maybe if I was in the car on my own, but I wouldn't be one to get up on stage and start singing in front of everyone. So yeah, that wouldn't be something I'd be doing.
What would you say your favourite cheat meal is?
Cheat meal, I'd say probably a Chinese. I don't mind a Chinese. They don't come very round that often, you know, obviously with obviously being tall lad and doing weights and stuff, light weights. So, you know, they don't come round very often, but it's nice to have a Chinese and, you know, especially just at the weekend really and on a Sunday if I'm obviously not racing. Yeah, it's definitely more enjoyable.
What's one race you'd love to win one day?
Oh, it's got to be the Guineas. Well, the Guineas or the Derby, really. If we're saying UK, you know, big meetings like that and big race, one of the classics. So, you know, I think it's any jockey's dreams to be riding at these big meetings, let alone win them. So, that would be another dream down the line, many years. But you could always dream about them, can you? And you know, I
Yeah.
dreamt about being a jockey and made that. So you know, take one step at a time.
So Alfie, just tell me a little bit about your agent and how you got involved with him.
Yeah, so my agent is James Forrest. I got involved with him the early part of this year through Paddy Bradley, who actually mentioned about him, and it was a stage where I was just looking for an agent, so it seemed quite right. And there on in, this year he's helped me out a lot and got me a lot more rides and spare rides and being able to ride for some trainers I probably wouldn't have thought I'd be able to ride for. And yeah, he's just been very crucial getting me the rides this year and a good number of rides to then hopefully bounce off and go again next year and being able to pick up a few winners from spare outside trainers that, you know, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't thought maybe riding for.
Yeah, and just tell me a little bit about how vital he is to your career and obviously what the process is of him like getting you rides.
Yeah, so he helps me out a lot via looking for the rides and, you know, contacting these trainers and people like that and being able to put me on some of these horses, which is vital for my career and going forward. And just, you know, jocking me up on horses that hopefully, you know, get a few winners under the belt and yeah, so hopefully kick on again next year and it just kind of helped me getting going forward and, you know, getting more rides pretty much.
And what's one racehorse we should all look out for in the future?
One racehorse would be G1 for Andrew Balding. You know, he's done well in his 2-year-old career. And hopefully, you know, he should easily progress into his 3-year-old career and he could be one for the Guineas. So he's an exciting prospect.
No, that's amazing. One final question, Alfie. What's one bit of advice you give to anyone who wants to get involved in not just racing but involved in horses or in the equestrian industry?
Just never give up and, you know, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, just determination and, you know, you can achieve what you want to achieve if you put your head to it and, you know, crack on with it pretty much.
No, it's amazing, obviously. And it's been lovely to interview today. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And obviously, from myself and behind the saddle, we wish you the very best of luck in the future.
Perfect. Thanks, Liam, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.